Sultai Vannifar. It's possible we should think about making some changes for playing against mono red, but like we also have like Goose, Grazer, and like a 1/4 and like 4/4s and 2/4s. So like maybe that matchup's gonna be okay to start with. I've only been playing like half mono red on the ladder, so maybe we won't run into a ton of it. Let's go ahead and dive on into some match with this, see how it goes. As is often the case, like what you want to beat and what you're willing to lose to can be dictated by what you're doing in your sideboard. I'm not even sure if the mono red matchup's that hard necessarily. So maybe let's play it once or twice. That's something we can think about while we're playing it, if that's something we need to adjust for. Trevor Noah had one of his correspondents go out to the Trump rally in Iowa. I don't remember his name, but it was in Iowa. And like he was talking to one of them, and they were like, "Yeah, Trump's not guilty because he told them they could talk to any witnesses they wanted." And the interviewer's like, "So like if he had something to hide and was like blocking witnesses from testifying, then that would be a problem, right?" And just blank deer headlights, just like, yeah, y'all just have no idea what's going on in the country and what you're enabling. Just the worst sort of people. I think that's been my biggest change in like personally in like the last 3 years. Is I used to have a lot of empathy for people who were conned into doing things that were bad for them or others, or just didn't realize it and they were making honest mistakes. But honestly, I'm just so far past that these days. Like, it just really doesn't matter if you didn't mean to hurt someone or you didn't mean to mess things up. If you're hurting people and messing things up, you're the problem. Okay. No, we've got a fast Vannifar draw here. That's important to remember too. Trump is a symptom. The corruption in the GOP runs really deep, as the vote to acquit showed all of us. All right, think I shock this in and play a 2/4. Two Steamkin feels unbeatable? Maybe. I mean, like, if they don't kill us this turn, they're dead, right? I block here. I take 6. If I block here, they can pump the Phoenix. If I block there, does Infuriate kill me if I block like this? They'll pump the Phoenix to 4, and then it'll be 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So I'm dead to Infuriate regardless. I'm dead to Skewer regardless, so I shouldn't play around Infuriate or Skewer. Okay, and then they're dead if we untap. If we untap with both these creatures, they lose. Okay, they're dead. I lead on Nightmare Shepherd, right? Step one. It's been a second. It's gonna take me a minute here, probably. So step 1 is always get Nightmare Shepherd into play. Then we pod this. And we get Corridor Monitor. Bird comes back. Corridor Monitor, untaps Vannifar. Vannifar pods Corridor Monitor. Corridor Monitor comes back and untaps Vannifar. This gets Woe Strider. Vannifar pods Corridor Monitor. Corridor Monitor turns into Tower Scout. Tower Scout untaps Vannifar. Vannifar pods this. Gets Corridor Monitor. Corridor Monitor untaps Vannifar. Sacrifice Tower Scout. Tower Scout turns into Nightmare Shepherd. And eventually we chain through our deck like this for people who haven't seen this before. And we end up getting 2 copies of Grey Merchant, which we sacrifice with Woe Strider to bring back with Nightmare Shepherd and deal a lot of damage. If you haven't seen this deck before and you think it's sweet, it definitely is. There's an article detailing exactly how the combo works with the steps laid out on Cool Stuff Inc. that I wrote a little bit ago. Is it possible we just don't sideboard and click submit here? I feel like it's very possible I just click submit and try and race them. Yeah, so the original submission of this deck was kind of a disaster, Ted. There were a lot of things that were unnecessary in it. So, like, when I wrote the article, I sat down and worked through all the permutations of this combo, and, like, it became apparent that we didn't need it. Maybe you want Wolf? No, I don't think a 4-mana removal spell is ideal. I think, if anything, you could maybe make the argument that I want, you could possibly make the argument that I want... what's it called? The argument that I want, I'm just completely drawing a blank. Assassin's Trophy is the word I'm looking for. Yeah, I think we'll keep Woe Strider there. Tilt. So rude, Robin Hood. Tinge Street Dodgers a rogue for Robber of the Rich. That's adorable. That is totes adorbs. Rats, they have a land. Play Temple of Malady here. So that way if we find a Nightmare Shepherd, we can play that out. No useful 3s to Neoform into, so we'll just hang tight. Our opponent stole our Nightmare Shepherd. Am I blocking? I feel like I'm not. This is going away in a second. Go. Scale of 1 to dead. Where's my prime speaker at? I mean, it's the start of the month, right? Like, there's a lot. The people who are trying to try hard their way up the ladder are gonna play mono red. Like, when mono red's competitive, it's the optimal choice to try hard up the ladder with. If we're still not into Mythic, like, a week from now, we spend a lot of time on the rank floor. I think I just go to 4 here, because I don't want to block and then have this die to a 3 damage spell. Or die to a cleave. If they cleave, am I dead? If they cleave here, it's +3. So that's not quite lethal. Cleave plus a burn spell is lethal. Double burn spell is lethal, but double burn spell kills Vannifar, and then I'm dead to that anyways. I needed a 1-drop there, right? I don't think I can kill from this position. So I can Paradise Druid into Nightmare Shepherd, but then once I have Nightmare Shepherd, I don't have a way to untap my Vannifar. Right? And like, if I Neoform the Vannifar, it comes back with Summoning Sickness. I mean, if I drew a 1-mana creature or if we drew a 1-mana creature or a Corridor Monitor, they were dead there. Which is again why I think it might be right to just like play the deck as is and just like click submit against mono red. Because like our main deck is optimized to like combo as quickly as possible. Just trying to kill them every game seems ideal. Okay, explain the Lion Skunky Blitz and you'll see that it doesn't work. What would we do with a 1-mana creature over Druid? No, I need Druid and a 1-mana creature, Papu. I already had the Druid. I needed to draw a 1-mana creature or a Druid or a 2-mana untapper, because a 1-mana creature was a 2-mana untapper in that situation because of the Neoform. Now the question here is, depending on what we draw, do we want to play this on 2 as a blocker, or do we want to hold it to combo afterwards? Hopefully we're just going to scry into like a Goose or a Paradise Druid to have that as a play on 2, or just another copy of this. Would be ideal. Huh? Yeah, that can stay. This means that we can curve 2, 3, 4 here. And actually, depending on how aggressive they are, I might curve 2, 3, 4, and then play this on 5 and combo with it on 8, or combo with it on 6. Could be a potential line. This deck does so much when it combos. People frequently make the mistake of assuming it just like always wins from every board state. And again, when you sit down and actually like talk through and think about the lines, you realize that that's not true very quickly. Okay, so now I can't wait. Now we just do this and hope they don't kill us. The plan here is untap with Vannifar. Do they not have cleave? Like, if they have cleave, they just attack with this too, right? So, like, let's say they do have cleave. If they have cleave, this is 20. So even if I put this in front of here, they cleave for 16 here. So, like, can I play around cleave is a question I have to ask myself. So assume they have cleave. I put this here. I take 16 here, and then I could go block, block, block. And I would lose everything. I could do this and keep this dies, and this doesn't die to cleave. I go to 1, but then I can't combo next turn, right? So I think the answer is we don't play around cleave. I think I just block there and say dead to cleave, right? This is 5, 6. Yeah, I agree. The fact that they didn't attack with the Steamkin is a big deal. I think that if they have Cleave, they attack with the Steamkin too. Are we dead? I think we're dead. Spark Double is mostly niche cases. Spark Double doesn't come in any of your default combo lines, but it's useful in situations that you otherwise wouldn't be able to combo through. A lot of the situations where Spark Double ends up being useful are related to, like, you drew too many copies of a combo piece or something, for example. Alright, so I'm shocking this in. The question is, am I neoforming this or this into a thing? The Tower Scout has an extra point of toughness, so I think I'm supposed to neoform the Woe Strider. Is the plan? I don't need the Woe Strider because I can Vannifar this into a thing next turn. Into a Woe Strider next turn. Although I guess that's not strictly true, huh? So I'm gonna have to chump block. Can I get out of this turn without dying and without losing both of these? That's the question. I don't know the answer to that question. Let's find out. Okay, so this block is easy. This block is easy. This block is easy. I take 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I believe we're dead. Right? So they're gonna pump Phoenix to the Ash here. So it's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, right? The mono red player had 3 lands in 14 cards. It was real good. It was a close game. So the game where they didn't have interaction, we would have won very handily. And this game, we almost won through their interaction. And it's very possible that game I messed up by not leading on Nightmare Shepherd. But I guess if I lead on Nightmare Shepherd, they just red cap melee the Shepherd, and then things end up about the same. It was a close set overall. I kind of feel like the plan of just, like, stay linear and try and race them is probably ideal there. The Mike Arnold, thanks for the 13 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. I don't know, Polly. Like, I feel like slowing myself down to be interactive in that matchup is not ideal. I'd be kind of surprised if that's an optimal case scenario. Hey, Andre Selim, thank you for the 5 months. Welcome back. So the plan here is Neoform, Woe Strider into Vannifar next turn, win in 2 turns. So we'll set ourselves up for a turn 4 kill here. Okay, so they're dead. Good times. Opponent seen this song and dance before. Are there any legal fogs? I think the 2-mana fog rotated. There might be like a really bad 3-mana fog, which I think is too much. I don't think, is there a 2-mana fog? If there's a 2-mana fog, I agree that that could be useful. Is Root Snare still legal? I'd actually say this deck really isn't like Jeskai Ascendancy at all. So Jeskai Ascendancy is interesting because Jeskai Ascendancy is a non-deterministic combo for a large part of it, whereas this deck gets deterministic like when you have, there's very specific guidelines where you're deterministic. It's very rare that you like partially combo or like are comboing but aren't certain you're going to win. Is it an Assassin's Trophy matchup? It might be an Assassin's Trophy matchup. It could also just be a click submit matchup. Yeah, I might click submit. Let's just race the aggro decks. Yeah, Root Snare. If Root Snare's legal, that card might be worth exploring. What is Pause for Reflection Convoke, or is that something else? Oh yeah, Pause for Reflection is totally the Convoke card, right? Yeah, that's probably the winner, huh? Because we can tap our creatures to play for it when we're tapped out. Yeah, maybe we'll jam some of those in the sideboard after this match. Like that idea, like 3 of them. It's basically Time Walk, right? It's bad against Questing Beast, but like, there aren't a ton of Questing Beast aggro decks, he says, as he's playing against a Questing Beast aggro deck. Oh, that's right, Bone Crusher beats it. Yeah, it's probably not good enough if it dies to Bone Crusher. We're about to get Ember Cleaved, huh? That's unfortunate. Yeah, they come out first. The standard format. Rex Sage would be a nice evergreen. I agree. Am I? Maybe I should have this on the draw. I'm just gonna be on the play. Let's just run them down. Think we'd see more or less cleave if Field of the Dead was illegal. I think we'd see about the same, honestly. Hopefully this finds an accelerant. Well, those are none of the droids I wanted for Christmas. I think we just grabbed the corridor monitor here because it blocks. Hand sucks keep. No, I think this hand's quite good. This hand's like an accelerant away from being one of our best possible hands. Now, the real question is, do I Nightmare Shepherd next turn or not? They brought in Thrashing Brontodon. I feel like I Nightmare Shepherd. We're just, like, not under any sort of pressure here. Oh, Brontodon kills Nightmare Shepherd. That's what it does. Okay. I guess we just YOLO it then. Historic was good. So after this resolves, we get priority immediately. So we get to Vannifar and get this trigger because sacrificing the creature is part of the activation. So they can Thrashing Brontodon, kill Nightmare Shepherd here. They did not. Okay. Hey, Boyd. Thanks for the brand new Prime support. I appreciate that. Well, I think they're dead now, right? I think they might have been dead even if they did it in response. I mean, they have to realize Shepherd's an enchantment, right? That's the reason why you bring Brontodon in. Like, is Brontodon just in their main deck and they didn't board it out? Yeah, maybe they just think the Brontodon's pausing because of my food. I'm confident they're dead at this point through disruption. Unless they're going to kill my Vannifar at some point, they should just be dead here. No, I think even if I'd have to sit down and go through the permutations, but I'm pretty sure even if they had Brontodon by Nightmare Shepherd right away, because I had Corridor Monitor and the Goose in play, they were still just dead. So, like, if they kill the Nightmare Shepherd right away, I sack the Corridor Monitor and go get Woe Strider and then untap that. And then if they kill the Nightmare Shepherd right away, my Vannifar's untapped. And I get to turn my Goose into another Strider. And then I sacrifice the token Strider into the 3-drop into the Nightmare Shepherd. And then at that point, I have Nightmare Shepherd number 2, Woe Strider, and the 1/4 in play that's not a token. I could still combo them from there. So because I had a Corridor Monitor and a Goose in play to start, it didn't matter that this Thrashing Brontodon was here. They had to kill the Vannifar, not kill the Nightmare Shepherd, and that this can't kill Vannifar. All right. This deck's like therapeutic to play. You just like have a very clear goal and you're like, all right, I'm just like running towards the finish line. Fogs, I don't know if I want the Fogs. Like the red decks play 4 Bone Crusher. Maybe it's still good enough. maybe it's still good enough. This hand doesn't have a Vannifar in it, so pretty easy mulligan with only 1 land. This hand kinda has a Vannifar in it. If I like run some, I need to draw any untapped land on 2. I'm gonna keep this in bottom, the Grey Merchant. So, if we draw a land, we get to go Woe Strider on 2. Then we get to Neoform it into a thing on 3. Swish. Did Red Black Titan do well? Yeah, it was a good set. We had some frustrating arena things happen, but overall, the game was good. So hoping to just run off some more lands here so we can curve into Nightmare Shepherd as well. Birth. Bantland's Birth. Right? You piqued my interest. Okay, remember when people thought cards that were bannable included Carnage Tyrant? Oh, my sweet summer children. Yeah, we did actually. Yep. I recorded a separate reaction video to going through the state of the game. It'll go up on YouTube tonight with everything else. About 32 minutes ago, if you want to go back and look at the reaction live now in the Twitch archive. Otherwise, it'll get its own YouTube VOD tonight. I guess we started about 40 minutes ago, thanks. It was like 8 minutes. Yep. Yep. This is a matchup that's very annoying. Feels blue-white control, man. I wonder if they have counter spells. They could just be a ramp deck playing Teferi. Hopefully they're just a ramp deck playing Teferi. I mean, I think this card's relatively fair. I think it's definitely not well designed. I think it creates a really bad user experience, but... well, that just resolves. That bodes well for our hero. They can't interact with Vannifar here again. We're going to be in a good spot. Now, it's possible I should lead on Nightmare Shepherd in the event that they're a deck that's playing Shatter. If they have sweepers, Nightmare Shepherd draws a card with Shatter and it insulates the rest of my board from it. But like in the event they don't have Shatter, we kill them next turn, so that's nice. There were a number of control decks running around last time we played this deck. So you don't frequently combo kill the control decks, but you do grind them out just by like playing like Nightmare Shepherd. Yeah, tokens that are just generic creature tokens and not tokens of specific cards have a converted mana cost of 0. So if you Vannifar the goat, you get a 1-drop. So getting punished here for not playing Nightmare Shepherd, and maybe I should. I don't know. They didn't shatter us last turn. I think I was wrong to play Vannifar out the first time. But once they didn't shatter us the first time, I think I'm supposed to just go for it again. I don't know, it could go either way. Another thing that's important to note about these matchups where you're not comboing a lot is this card has escape. So part of the way you grind out these decks that are really interactive is just by escaping this card over and over again. Oh no, this is pretty miserable at this point, huh? They get to Teferi bounce something, and then that brings back Teferi. Yeah, I haven't played a ton of Paper Magic since this card and Narset were printed, but I have to imagine they are pretty rancid from a keeping track of game actions perspective. I'm gonna go to the next match. We're near the rank floor. I'm just kind of playing to have fun. I don't really have fun playing against my cards getting bounced endlessly. Let's find some more mono red players and try and race them. This hand's fine. Would like an accelerant, but very reasonable otherwise. This could be another game where, like, if they don't pressure us and they're playing something interactive, we lead on Nightmare Shepherd as opposed to Vannifar. Corridor Monitor looks like something out of Toy Story. You're not wrong. Alright, I guess we'll play against the control deck the second time through. I don't want to concede every match. Sure. Definitely a game where we're playing Nightmare Shepherd on 4, though. I mean Mana Ramp. In Magic, the jargon accelerant refers to cards that accelerate your mana. So, specifically, they refer to creatures that accelerate your mana. So, Paradise Druid, Grazer, Goose, these are the accelerants in this deck. Cards that let you play your cards ahead of curve. They accelerate your curve. I can't even fathom this deck being a deck in a format where Veil of Summer and Once Upon a Time are both legal. Like, that's gotta be like the furthest thing from okay possible, right?
Trust me, I have a plan.
I lied. I'm not gonna play this matchup. I lied. I'm gonna concede. I'm gonna try again. Sure. Hey, Rang Tingy, thanks for the 20 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Jeff for president, not nearly old enough. Sometimes I play Esper Control when I'm feeling salty to pass the salt off to someone else. Excellent. So I could have Incubation there looking for a Vannifar, but like, I have this Neoform, so I might as well just like Tower Scout and then like turn this into a thing. I'd like a backup Vannifar. I guess maybe getting the backup Vannifar was wrong, because I actually can't combo them this turn, right? I needed an untap creature there. Yeah, that was wrong. I should have taken the untapper. It's probably not a big deal. I can I get to put Nightmare Shepherd into play this turn. So like putting Nightmare Shepherd into play means like, unless they have like an Eat to Extinction or another exile effect here, we're gonna get to kill them next turn. It is worth noting I made an oopsie poopsie. Perfect. That's exactly what I wanted for Christmas. Okay, so if they don't have any interaction, they're dead. Untap this. Go find a Woe Strider. I'm not really talking through what I'm doing a whole heck of a lot. If you're not familiar with how this deck combo kills and like what the lines are, I would encourage you to check out my article on coolstuffinc.com talking through exactly what I'm doing. Makes me pretty likely to misclick because there's just a lot going on. There's a lot of game actions to take and I'm trying to do them in a relatively quick manner. So the basic TLDR is we're going to go find the other Nightmare Shepherd here, and then we're going to turn these Nightmare Shepherds into, turn these Nightmare Shepherds into Grey Merchants, and then they'll die. I have no idea. Is there just like a bunch of like mopey ramp cards? That might just be a bunch of mopey ramp cards, huh? So it's worth noting the tokens that get made by Nightmare Shepherd not only retain their casting cost, but they also retain the colors in their casting cost. So they keep the black symbols in these for purposes of Grey Merchanting people. So this next Grey Merchant does 9, then the Woe Strider sacrifices the Grey Merchants, and each of them do 9 again when they come back under the Nightmare Shepherd. So we can deal another 18 here, so we have 14 overkill. In the event that dealing another 18 wasn't enough here, we'd be able to search up more Nightmare Shepherds in our chain to deal more damage. Cauldron of Eternity and Self-Mill. Oh, so they're just like way less efficient than we are, huh? Let's get linear. I want to get linear. Let's get into linear. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. I think I'm just boarding in a bunch of Agonizing Remorses. Not quite sure what they're doing. It could be right to just click submit here rather than boarding in Agonizing Remorse, but like Agonizing Remorse and Assassin Trophies are like pretty safe cards to board in. Just because they have a pretty generic range of things they hit. What happens if you draw both your Grey Merchants? Yeah, you gotta cast them. I would recommend not drawing both your Grey Merchants. Step 1, be lucky. Step 2, don't be unlucky. Since we are going to what sounds like the plane of big monsters, your worried blue-green ramp is going to be even further ahead of the other decks in Standard. I mean, I think it's going to probably gain some more tools, yeah. I also don't think, though, that, like, blue-green ramp... I think my initial assessment that blue-green ramp was really far ahead was overstated. I think there's a lot of different combo decks in this format that are very linear and get to race it very elegantly. What matchup is Destiny Spinner for? Counterspell decks. The Flash matchup's pretty impossible. If you wanted to try something like the Fogs that we were talking about earlier for the aggro matchup, Destiny Spinner is probably what you trim. It's kind of a flexible sideboard slot that you can turn into a card for like whatever you want to hate on. Thassa's Oracle, you say? This is a great draw because we can check for interaction here before I jam Vannifar next turn. Alright, so their hand actually does nothing. Oh, you know what? I should take this because this can technically tap my Vannifar, but it probably doesn't matter. Because, like, I'm going to cast Vannifar next turn, and then they're going to cast Thassa, and then we're going to kill them. I mean, it's not really your fault, Distinction. Like most green cards printed in the last 18 months, Destiny Spinner has way too much text on it. How are you supposed to know that the 2-3 for 2 was being used for something for other than its good stat line? I'm still reading Questing Beast. Well, let us know when you're back in an hour or two. Tap out for Thassa so I can kill you, please. That's unfortunate. Alright, so now we might get punished for not taking their Thassa here. I need to draw an Untapper or a Nightmare Shepherd to kill them next turn. Hey, Shoes. Thanks for the brand new tier 1 sub. I appreciate that. Welcome to Oglandia. Hope you're having a good one, wherever you're at. It stops damage prevention because they wanted to give green an anti-fog card. That's the TLDR. Wanted green to have an anti-fog card. Now if they play Thassa and we brick next turn again, we could be in trouble because Thassa gets to diddle this every turn. I guess they have to spend 4 mana to keep diddling it though, and like eventually we draw an Untapper and kill them. This isn't quite lethal, right? This isn't quite lethal in terms of comboing, but it does mean that I get to find a bunch of friends. Oh, you know what? I could have gotten Spark Double there. It's lethal adjacent with the combat step, correct? This is one of those instances where, like, not having a 1 or a 2 is, like, slowing us down, but, like, the failure rate when you have 3 is just, like, here's a bunch of Nightmare Shepherds, attack you. So, like, next turn we attack for 12, and then we pot a Nightmare Shepherd into a Grey Merchant, which Grey Merchants them for 8. So we're gonna have the ability to deal 20 next turn. They could just be diddling with Thassa. I guess that's true, but like if they're diddling with Thassa, they're not doing anything else, then we 12 them twice over the next 2 turns. Well, they're gonna tap. They'll tap the Prime Speaker, right? Because they're not dead to the Nightmare Shepherd attack. If they're bad and tap a Nightmare Shepherd, we'll be able to kill them with a pot activation. That's my favorite mode on Inverter and Pioneer. It's a 6/6, so combat. Yeah, exactly. It's why that deck is so good. Yeah, opponent understands what's up. A big part of what makes this deck playable is the fact that we just get to do this, right? Like, this is my failure rate is attack you with 4/4s. We did it, we did it, we did it. Hooray! This is a mulligan, no accelerants, no ways to get to Vannifar. Just kind of looking to combo as quickly as possible in this deck. Yeah, this is probably fine. Nah, for the most part, trying to put protection cards in the deck just dilutes what the deck is looking to do. I think you're better off just like trying to redraw more copies of your combo piece rather than protect them. So like playing cards like Neoform and Incubation Incongruity find you more Vannifars after the first one dies, but they also find you your first Vannifar to begin with. I think I hold on to this for post combo. We'll go Woe Strider on 3, Shepherd on 4. Want to get Vannifar down first. Generally speaking, you need an untapper to get going. Yeah, opponent top 3 cards there and then chose not to crack their Fabled Passage. They must like at least one more of them, huh? Probably Jeskai Fires with the start. Alright, so they're not drawing the third one, right? You just put that on top so they can say they put 3 on top. I think I do this and just pass. Some of these Jeskai decks have been playing Shatter. So I think if I'm going to... I think I want to hang tight for a turn. Sure. Yeah, I think trying to play Leyline of Anticipation is some nonsense. So don't sweep my board. Pretty unlikely to kill it. If they don't sweep us here, they could have Teferi, I suppose. If they play Time Raveler, they could bounce Vannifar and then not be dead. It's a shame this deck can't play white easily because the new Eidolon card, the 1-drop that like sacks to give something protection, would be so absurd for this deck. But I don't think you can reasonably play that card. Because, like, this deck wants 1-drops to start comboing with. Could I sack Van in response? Oh, you're right. I totally can. We do beat a single Teferi. I was like, why would we sack in response? I have a Nightmare Shepherd. So, yeah. So, you need, like, Teferi plus Sweeper Teferi plus Clarion. Yeah, if they play Teferi, I'm totally gonna down tick or sack my Vannifar and get a token. Denies them the card draw too. It's a good line. So Nightmare Shepherd and Woe Strider. I mean, that Teferi's not good enough. Teferi plus some other stuff could be good enough, but just Tef's not gonna do it. And the best part is here, my opponent has elected to play Hearthstone with Fires of Invention, so we know if we get to untap with our stuff, they're just dead. Afternoon, Deebs. Alright, I don't believe there is any singleton card in their deck that stops them from dying next turn at this point. I guess we'll find out, but I'm pretty sure that's the case. Like, there isn't, like, one card they can play here that prevents us from killing them. Because, like, even if they cast, like, Shatter here, my Vannifar comes back from Nightmare Shepherd, and then we go Paradise Druid, get back to Nightmare Shepherd, and then Corridor Monitor combo them. Alright, they're dead. Like 6 different ways I can kill them here. It's a dealer's choice. A lot of ways to eat this Reese's chat. Whee! This is just an Agonizing Remorse matchup? I think so. I like to cut Neoform in the really interactive matchups, because if you Neoform into Vannifar and it gets killed, you get yourself 2 for 1, which is not great. Trim Grazer, Trim Tower Scout. Seems fine. Nuh-uh, the commercial told me there's lots of ways to eat the Reese's. I prefer when people don't know this deck and they let us play through. Yeah, we don't actually click through the combo nearly as much anymore. It's a thing people are aware exists. You don't actually pop off fully nearly as often. I think this is a mulligan, right? It has an accelerant, but it's just a bunch of blanks. I guess I have 2 temples. Like, do 2 temples plus incubation make this fine? I guess I don't have the ability to incubation and play Druid on 2, so my odds of playing Vannifar on 3 are really low. So I think I mulligan that because of that. Okay, so we'll keep these, bottom these 2. 2 lands, Accelerant, Vannifar, Nightmare Shepherd, pretty good. Twitch doesn't work on your Roku anymore. Chromecasts are like super cheap. Chromecasts are like 25 bucks, 35 bucks. Teferi does not leave our presence until October. October is the only rotation per year. Oh, he's gonna eat my food like a terrible coworker. Get your own meals. That's true. That's true. Maybe the Teferi 3 themed core set this summer is just gonna bring back like all the Teferi's greatest hits. This card's gonna be evergreen in standard moving forward. All-time Raveler all the time. Never not Raveling. Do do do. Do 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 do. I see Twins resub. Yeehaw. Thanks for the 25 months, Twin. I might have missed Lab Rat too. I don't remember saying some of these names. And Facemaster, Shanzu, Lab Rat. I feel like I might have missed those. If you folks are still here and I missed it the first time, I apologize. I was up a little bit late last night, and my children woke me up at 5 a.m. Usually they're closer to 6 a.m., so it's not too bad, but 5 a.m. is brutal. If Puzzle Box gets printed in Standard, I'm quitting Magic for 2 years. I would like to think that Puzzle Box will never get printed into Standard with Narset, but, you know, they've had some misses recently. So, you know. Maybe I shouldn't rule anything out. We did not test that interaction. Yeah. Yeah, Puzzle Box Narset was some things that people were doing in Modern for a hot second. That's true, Stingy. It would only be 3 months. That's still like 3 months too many, though, I think. For people that aren't familiar, Puzzle Box makes you redraw your hand every turn. So, like, with Narset out, people just lose their hand every turn with it. Well, I definitely shocked in that land, planning to play Woe Strider here, but, you know, spilt milk, all that jazz. I'm excited to lose the game by 2 points of life. It's gonna be a good time. Justice for Woe Strider. Meh. Looking for a Vannifar or a way to find Vannifar here. Nightmare Shepherd would also be a-okay. Alright. Let the 3-power, 3-drop beatdown commence, chat. This goat's gonna get in the end zone. Let him know what's up. Set the mood. Cavalier. Clarion. Alright, I'll scry twice, I guess. Nope. We'll scry once. Only a once. Only a once. We are 1 card away from escaping these back. There's 4 total, including both of these. We need this plus 4 other cards in the bin. We draw a 2-drop. They're dead. I think I just turned this into a shepherd. Although, actually, do I just get a second Vannifar? Second Vannifar is better against Teferi, right? It's worse against the Sweeper, though. It's worse against the Sweeper. Yeah, I think we Hyrax into Nightmare Shepherd because this gives me the option to escape this next turn. I don't know, like, what's more likely? Is, like, Shatter more likely, or is 3-mana Teferi more likely? Could go either way there. And, like, 3-mana Teferi only temporarily gets rid of my Vannifar. Shatter would permanently get rid of it, which wouldn't be ideal. So I think playing around the Sweeper effect is ideal here. Is it possible to hold priority on enter battlefield to pot away? You can hold priority in response to whatever you want. However, Vannifar is a sorcery speed ability. So no, you cannot do things in response. You cannot Vannifar things in response. We need a 1 or a 2 drop here. Our fallback plan of Nightmare Shepherding people is not going to be good enough. So I can escape Woe Strider back next turn, but that doesn't let us combo kill. That's probably the play, though, in the event that we brick. I guess... I could do this. Get a Nightmare Shepherd here. This comes back. And then turn this into a Spark Double. So now I have double Shepherd, double Vannifar. Maybe I was just supposed to Woe Strider this turn, though, because it's more mana efficient. Is quite possibly the answer. We're gonna chump block Dream Trawler this turn with a Nightmare Shepherd. They could also be getting into range where we have a hard time actually killing them with the 2 Gray Merchants. Because, like, they're gaining at least another 5 life this turn, possibly more. If I would have had a Woe Strider in play, I would have been better off in the face of this, huh? Yeah, maybe I messed up. So again, need to draw a 1-drop next turn. 2-drop also does it. That's super unfortunate. Are we dead? I think we're dead. Hey, Deep Blue, thanks for the 2/3 of a year. Welcome back. Feel like we're dead here. Pod Goat into Goose is not dead on board. Yeah, it's accurate. Okay. It's super unfortunate that we drew the 4th Nightmare Shepherd, because, like, if I hadn't drawn, yeah, like like, not only did we not draw the card that kills them, if I had a Nightmare Shepherd in my deck, I don't think we could start the combo. No, we need an untapper here still too. But, like, with Nightmare Shepherd out of my deck, we definitely can't. And again, for people who are like, can we do X? Instead of asking me if we can do X, just tell me how we do it. Be informative. Even without this in our hand, we still can't do anything. And if you think we can do something, explain it. And as you try to explain it, you'll figure out you're wrong. Why not do the thing and win? Yeah, exactly. But the goose is gonna get bounced or die here, and then we're dead. Yeah. Correct. Yeah, that's just a bunch of tire spinning that doesn't actually win the game. You need, for this, in order for this deck to combo off, people just assume you need way less than you do. In order for the deck to combo off, you need a 1 or a 2 drop in play, and then you need an untapper in your hand, or you need Nightmare Shepherd already on the battlefield. So, the untapper in your hand, or already having Nightmare Shepherd in play is the part that catches a lot of people up, because they don't realize they need that step in the middle to fully kill. It's part of the reason why we play the full 8 untap creatures, as opposed to just like playing 6 of them. It's okay, looking for a Vannifar. Obs should have scryed first. There's always a creature on top. Every time you miss with Incubation and Incongruity. So I would like the record to reflect that it is strictly correct to scry after you Incubation and Incongruity. Because when you scry before you Incubation and Incongruity, you're scrying 1 card out of 5 looks, whereas when you scry for your draw step for the following turn, you're scrying 1 card against 1 look. So the percentage of cards you're looking at, you're increasing the quality when you're looking at fewer things is better. No, you cannot Toxic Flames. You need a 1 or a 2 drop.
Right on schedule.
You need a 1 or a 2 drop to get going. When you have a 3 and untappers in hand, you can put a bunch of Nightmare Shepherds into play, and like you get to a spot where you like effectively are going to win the game just because you have so much flying power.
Here goes nothing. Stand by.
I only want to play 1 more match. I'm going to continue just conceding to blue-white. It's just so dry. I just don't want to sit here and like watch my Vannifar get bounced 800 times while they fail to kill me. We'll play against fires like we just did, because those games at least have some tension where they like have some combos, but just sitting here waiting for paint to dry while we're on the ranked floor doesn't sound fun. Let's try one more reasonable match with this, and then we'll go ahead and call it a day. A little bit shorter stream on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Ah, yes, that wonderfully released ready sound effect. What even is that sound effect? How was the snow yesterday? The snow yesterday was enough that I decided to break my snowblower out for the first time this season, and I put gas in it and checked the oil level, and then it wouldn't flipping start. It was a brand new snowblower that I bought last year. So I was very frustrated this morning with it. Looking for Vannifar. There we go. There's Miguel. There's Miguel. So normal snowblower. Yep. Yeah, I think I might honestly get it fixed and then resell it at this point. Some people, what's it called? Some people had mentioned that they make electric snowblowers, and I think I'm just gonna get one of those. Yeah, a couple of people mentioned electric snowblowers. So like, this one even has an electric start on it, and like both the pull start and the electric start just didn't work. Yeah, we already played against Green Red today, in fact, Toxic Flames. We played this deck a lot. We've played against most things with it at this point. So the question is, are they killing us fast enough that I should play Vannifar first? I think the answer is yes. What's the model? Some craftsman piece of crap. Another Rimrock Knight. Phew. Soul blowers are expensive. We paid almost $1,000 for it last year. So I was not pleased that it's just like, I tried to turn it on for the first time this year and it just didn't fucking work. Didn't spend that much money on a product for it to like, you know, just be good for one winter. I don't know, like, for the amount of money I spent on it, it should just work the following year. Like, if it was, like, a few years old and, like, hadn't been maintained, it'd be like, whatever, okay, that's just, like, how stuff works. But, like, a year later, barely a year later, like... Alright, I'm gonna be done for the day. These games haven't been very fun. I don't know. This deck was, like, I think this deck's fine, and, like... The novelty's worn off. The novelty's worn off. It's just like, most people concede before you actually start clicking through it because they know they're dead. This, like, people ask me, like, what do I think about this deck versus the Jeskai Bio deck that we had played? And I think this deck's just a lot more fun than the Vannifar deck, just from a pure play pattern perspective, because, like, this deck has a 3-card combo in it, but it also, like, wins a lot of games through being a mid-range grindy deck, whereas, like, the Vannifar deck, while, like, technically can, like, scrape out games against the control decks, being, like, escaping these things back and attacking with 4/4s, most of the games you win, you're just like, all right, you didn't kill my Vannifar, I untapped, I killed you, which, like I said, is fantastic the first few times you do it, but, like, once the novelties wear off, it's just like, it's another Ember Cleave deck, basically. So, all right, at any rate, I'm gonna go ahead and catch all of y'all tomorrow. I will be starting a little bit late tomorrow. I will not be doing Pioneer tomorrow morning. I have an appointment I have to go to. So I'll be starting with Historic on Arena, starting about 9:30, 9:45 a.m., and then we'll be rolling on into Standard after it, so it'll be an all-Arena stream tomorrow. So everyone, enjoy the rest of your Thursday. Thanks for hanging out here, as always, and hopefully see some of you tomorrow.